Hello, Amy Wilkinson here. I help women in the food industry to get recognition that they deserve without frazzling themselves or their teams. And today I'm going to talk to you about getting visible at work, how you can do it without it feeling like you're selling your soul to the devil. I'm also going to talk to you about, at the end, I'm going to talk to you briefly about the Invisible to Valued course that I am launching. But this is not some big sales pitch. I'm all about helping as many people as possible. So I will be sharing some real value that can help you now without you having to sign up to any course. I'm going to talk to you about visibility because a lot of the women that I work with are like, I don't want to be visible. I just want to get my head down. I just want to do a good job. And when we are early in our careers, that can be really successful. We get rewarded for it. We usually get rewarded with more work, but we might get promotions, that sort of thing. And then it gets to a point where getting your head down and being the one that is really helpful and is the one that just gets stuff done is no longer getting you any recognition. You're just getting yourself completely frazzled and you're working all the hours God send. And it holds you back. You know, it held me back in my career. It stopped me progressing in the way that I knew I was capable of because I was too busy looking after everybody else's needs rather than my own. So the reality is, I'm sorry to tell you that you do need to get visible, because what happens if you stop yourself getting visible and you get your head down is that you get really frustrated, especially when that less experienced person starts throwing their weight around or gets promoted ahead of you. It can get you frustrated at work. How it makes you feel undervalued, and so you start resenting people at work. You start getting a bit snappy, or you kind of just stop contributing because you just don't care anymore. You just feel invisible and like your voice doesn't matter. And yeah, you get resentful at work, but it can start leaking into your home life. You start getting snappy. You know, it's just like the kids that are at school and they hold all their emotions in when they're at school and then they let them all out when they're at home. That can happen to you at home as well. And it can be soul destroying. It can take you from coasting a job that isn't rewarding to feeling like you just want to get out the hell out of here before you lose your shit with somebody. And sorry, I'm a bit swearing, but that's who I am. I do swear. My mum's not on this platform, so hopefully she won't watch it. So the uncomfortable as it might be for you, the reality is to get more recognition and to feel more valued at work, you're going to need to get visible. So, but how do you do that? Because I know I was like, for a long time, I was like, I am not interested in politics. I don't want to play the game. I don't want to do all of that stuff. And I get it. Like, we are brought up to be polite and well-mannered. My other half says that all the time to my daughter. I'm like, shut up. Obviously, I want her to be polite, but I also know that the messages that we get told as we're growing up can really hold us back once we get into the workplace. Because you need to be able to start speaking up more. So I'm going to give you 4 things that you need to do. So the first thing you need to do is speak up more in meetings. It's the number one way to get visible. And it's really easy now, particularly in this world of remote meetings, to just sit back, keep yourself on mute and don't contribute, because you can feel like, what's the point? Someone else is going to say it anyway. It can sometimes feel uncomfortable, you know, it sometimes feels like it might be a bit of conflict to say what you're thinking. So I want you to start really simply. So the first thing that you can do is stop avoiding being there for the small talk bit at the beginning. Start, you know, getting involved in that small talk a little bit, even if it makes you a little bit uncomfortable. Do what you need to build rapport with your colleagues, because that's going to start to help them see your human side. They're going to notice you more in a positive light, because people like doing work with people, right? But you are going to have to do a little bit of what makes you uncomfortable. And don't hold back. If you just think somebody else is going to say it, they're not going to know that that was going on in your head. So do speak up and do get your voice heard in meetings. Now, it is something that I will cover. It's as simple as that. I know you've got all sorts of mind monkeys going on, telling you to keep quiet, do this, that, and the other. And that's why I'm running this course, because I can help you with how to manage yourself and all that stuff that's going on in your head, so that you do get more confident in speaking up. Because for a long time I used to be that little quiet mouse in the corner that didn't speak up. In fact, when I started my career and I was working in MPD, I used to hate phoning suppliers, and like it's a massive part of MPD is like sourcing new raw materials, and I was just terrified of doing it. So I'm telling you that because I'm not pretending to be perfect, but I'm also telling you that just because you feel that way now doesn't mean that you always have to feel that way. We can learn to be more confident. So tip number 1 is to speak up more in meetings. The next one is to grow your network. Particularly when you work in a small business, or if you work in a big business but you're siloed into one department, then it can be really difficult to get visible because people don't even know what you do. You know, my last job, I sat in a central location, didn't have that much to do with sites, and then it's really hard for you to get more visible and know people know who you are. So ways to increase your overall the awareness that people within your business have of you or in your industry can really help. Now, you can do it through formal networking events. I flipping hate them. Lucy Wager and I, that I run the Overfood Safe podcast with, have done a podcast episode on that, on how to build your networks. Go and have a listen to that. We're also running a masterclass on it at the end of September. I think it's the 27th of September. And we're going to talk to you about different ways in which you can build your network. You know, LinkedIn, for instance. A year ago, I had 500 connections on LinkedIn. I've now got 6,500. It is possible to build your network. And I'm not saying you have to come on camera and do what I do, but there are lots of different ways that you can start to build your network that is going to help you increase your visibility. The third one is to strengthen your relationship with your boss. So your relationship with your line manager really matters, and they often hold the key to unlocking your visibility within organisations. Now, I've had bosses in the past that have been control freaks. I've had micromanagers. I've had ones that just want to inflate themselves and want to hold you back. It is really difficult. I'm not saying it's always easy. If you have a good relationship with your boss, amazing, leverage it. If you don't, think about what you can control and how you can start getting them on side, thinking about what matters to them, thinking about how you can improve the relationship. And I know it can always feel like, well, why should I have to do the work? They're the boss. Because it's holding you back if you don't do that work. So think about how you can start to improve your relationship. And here's a top tip for when you are in a one-to-one with your boss and you're giving them an update on what's going on. Don't just say, don't worry, you don't need to worry about it, I've got it all under control. Because what that does is really downplay what you've had to do to keep things under control. So expand a little and say, well, we did have this potential issue last week, but by doing this, I have now got it under control. So you're not spending lots and lots of extra time telling them all about the detail. They don't need to know every single detail, but what you are doing is making it clear that you contributed to everything being under control. And then they can start to see the value in you a lot more than somebody that's just getting their head down and getting the job done. And it will help them appreciate all that hard work that you are actually putting in behind the scenes as well. So that's my next top tip, is to improve your relationship with your boss and tell them what you're doing. The next one is finding a mentor. So one of the greatest things you can do for your career advancement is finding a mentor. So there are organisations within which you can do that. So like in the food industry, Flourishing Food, I think IFST are doing something like that as well. But maybe it's somebody within your organisation, maybe it's somebody outside of your organisation, someone you used to work with, someone that's just a couple of steps ahead of you. I mean, I had a mentor once that was a lot ahead of me, that was a director, and I learned a lot from him. But actually, I think I would have learned more from somebody that was, say, one step down from that, because it was almost so long since he'd been in my position. It was hard for him to empathise. But definitely getting yourself a mentor, because they have you're tapping into their network. They're going to be able to give you advice on how you are coming across. So definitely go and get yourself a mentor, or a coach. Coaches are available too. I do this stuff one-to-one. Coaching is different to mentoring, but I'm not here to talk about that. So my 4 things that I have just talked to you about are speaking up more in meetings, growing your network, strengthening your relationship with your boss, and getting yourself a mentor. They're 4 things that you need to do to help your visibility at work. They're not too bad, right? So if you do some or all of those things, you're going to go from being the good, solid, reliable one who just gets her head down, gets stuff done, to one that stands out from the crowd and is getting recognition. And when I say stand out from the crowd, I'm not saying you need to be famous. You need to be like the one that, is standing up and giving loads of presentations. What I mean is getting the level of recognition that you want in your job and feeling like you are valued in what you do. Which segues me on nicely. I forgot to say, if you are here live, come and say hello in the comments. And also, if you are watching on replay, give me a hashtag replay so that I know you've been here, because I hate talking into this green dot and not knowing if anybody's here. So I want to talk to you about Invisible to Valued, which is the course that I am launching this week. And it's going to start week commencing the 19th of September, so starting very soon. It is going to take you from feeling all of those things that I was talking about, so feeling invisible, frustrated, feeling like you there's no flipping point in talking anymore in meetings, feeling like nobody listens to you, feeling frustrated at work and not getting shit done that you need to get done, and it's starting to leak into your home life. It's going to take you from that, snapping at the kids, feeling like you've just lost your sparkle and lost your passion for what you do. It's going to take you from that to feeling really confident in what you're doing. It's going to help you to get yourself a lot more visible, feel more valued at work, but do it in a way that suits you as an individual. It's not just all about copying what other people have done, although that can be helpful. It's going to help you to feel less frustrated. It's going to help you get shit done at work, so then you can be able to push back more, which means it's going to give you more time, which is going to mean that life is going to be rosier outside of work as well, because you're not going to be as snappy, and you're going to have that spark back and you're going to feel more valued. Now, you have got until Sunday the 18th to sign up for the course. And if you have any questions about it, it's a 5-week course. I'm doing that, what should I be saying thing. It's a 5-week course. It is self-guided in that you watch the videos. So I've done pre-recorded videos that are 30 to 40 minutes long each. You'll get those on a Monday, and then we will have a live Q&A later in the week. So you get access to me personally. The course runs for 5 weeks. You get access to me for 10 weeks to ask me any questions, for me to help you. But then you get lifetime access to the course, because I know you're thinking, I ain't got time for this right now. You will get a lifetime access. So if you've got any questions, pop them in the comments, or come and message me on LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever. LinkedIn's where I hang out the most. Because I would absolutely love to see you there. It is my passion to help women in the food industry get that recognition that you deserve, because I want us together to be the change that we want to see. And that change is to make the food industry a happier place to work. So if you want in, sign up. I'll put a link in.